guess we'll blast it. Yeah, it came out here. That's really good. Yeah, let's end turn. That thing is charging up. That is stunned. And we're going toward this tank and interacts. Your young host clutches at a steaming haunch of meat and crouches with the other hunters. Shivering with outrage, like the rest of the tribe, she's starving, and the pack elder does not care. Flexing scarred talons, the elder unfolds. Oh. One moment. I have to begin at first. This tank appears to contain a dense, jumbled mass of sharp-edged onyx. It's only when a cluster of eyes flickers beneath a slick membrane that you realize you're looking from the oily carapace of a huge insect, an chalisk. Your memory whispers, compressed into a tiny space. A flood of bubbles rises from the bottom of the tank, bearing you away from the dangers of this place into the depths of the creature's mind. Your young host clutches a steaming haunch of meat, crouches with the other hunters, shivering with outrage. Like the rest of the tribe, she's starving. The pack elder does not care. Flexing scarred talons, the elder unfolds above them and demands that its hunters turn over all their kills again to honor him. Your host makes a sound like grinding glass at the back of her throat. The pack will not turn on its elder unless someone rises first. Her legs flex beneath her. We will attack the elder. Your will focuses her outrage into a needlepoint of fury, and she lunges at the elder, tail uncoiling with a rattling whip crack. Barbed tails carve whistling paths in the air. Claws flash and ichor sprays, turning dirt to mud. You sense sorrow rising from the pack. They will survive. They always do. But soon an elder or a hunter will be dead. There will be no victory here. You feel the tides embrace and flow through you just as the dying elder tears out your host's throat. Lean against the tank to catch your breath, eyeing the remaining creatures in the tanks. You'll need to be swift to avoid the sorrow fragments hunting for you. Alright, now the spectre is here again. And you know what? Let's blast the sorrow fragment. And also let's move. Can we move? Please? Seems like we cannot move, huh? Where could we move? Let's end turn, alright. And we're going to... I don't know. We will run over here. Now our spectre can move. Can we move now? Now? Seems like he cannot move. Let's attack. No? Let's draw the eye of this sorrow fragment. Seems like this is bugged a bit. Or I don't know. Because the spectre can't move. Well, let's end turn then. Let's go there and interact. Spinning slitted disc is set into the front of this machine. Behind it, sharp currents of oily darkness twist and whirl. The amorphous, bestial sorrow fragment to be removed from this machine before the creature in the nearby tank will be calm enough for a connection. Carefully move the spinning disc and pull the fragment out of the machine. Use speed. Beneath the spinning disc, the saboteur's body roils, recoiling at the touch. Suddenly it pours out of the machine a stream of glistening black. The disc falls back into place with a satisfying click, and the whirlpool in a nearby tank dissolves. The creature should be calm enough to connect with now. Sorrow fragment colors with a baleful, eyeless gaze. As a glittering zoetrope spins, a curved metal rod jutting from the console pops out onto the ground. The machine doesn't appear to be needed anymore. It was some sort of data tunneler, which isn't very helpful here, but it could make for a handy single-use teleporter by crossing two exposed wires at one end. We gained a data tunneler. And what can our Spectre do? We cannot move as this seems to be bugged a bit, so let's just stun these guys again. Yeah, and end turn. That thing charges up. A tidal, we have a quantum teleporter. And a tidal capacitor. Let's use that thing. And use the tank. Tiny currents coil over the hulking creature in this tank, stirring the brown and silver fur on its muscular forelimbs. Curving tusks curl away from its jaw. And it is these that remind you what these creatures are called. This is a tusk Grorthas. Though, as far as you remember, there's no such thing as a tuskless Grorthas. The currents speed up, whirling around the creature. Suddenly, you're drawn through the eye of the whirlpool into the creature's mind. Your host and the rival pack leader tumble down a snowy cliff face, biting and clawing each other. They strike a ledge of transparent ice and roll apart, growling. Far above, their packs hoot in excitement. Cracks spiral out from their paws. Both leaders tense. The ground is over a kilometer below, but the first leader to teleport to safety will lose the duel, and their pack. Your host bares his teeth. He will ensure his rival is dead to demonstrate his superiority, even if he dies too. We will examine for now. Someone clears their throat inside your head and speaks. Designate. Tusk Growthers. Nomadic creatures with a strong affinity for the Silvertide. Pack leaders demonstrate limited psychic abilities, including teleporting itself or one another once per day, but packs will only follow leaders that display not only strength but absolute superiority. A duel between rivals, once begun, cannot be ended until one of them is either defeated or dead. Alright. We have no action, so we have to leave. And the Spectre is, here. I guess. Let's use the mark on this one. As to keep them as close as we can. Fragment is stunned, so let's interact now. And display your superiority to the packs at any cost is what we do. The tusk Growthers bounce at his rival, howling, their tusks lock, scraping against each other. Suddenly the ledge snaps and both tusk Growthers fall into open space. Both animals huff and growl, but neither will be the one to teleport first. The last second the rival's eyes open in fear and it disappears. Your host slams into the ground, too late to teleport itself. As it lies dying, you feel its immense satisfaction. tides swell around you, carrying you with them. Then returning to your own body, a dull heat settles in your gut and an oily haze crowds your vision. You sense, no, you know that the sorrow has focused its dire attention directly on you. A reminder of the sorrow fragments spilled from the devices they were infesting and joined the hunt. Alright, that was quickly. And rolled a -1 for initiative. I hope that is not good. Skis, they're all coming out. Quickly, go straight to the other tanks. So... let's... go over here. I think we still have an action. Do we have it? No. And our Spectre takes a brief rest. Ends the turn. Going to have to visit this and this, and most probably then go out there. So, what can we do now? We have a quantum teleporter. Can interact with this one. We have to first interact with that thing. Oh, let's run here and do that. Beast has emerged from its machine to attack. Water froze freely. Alright. Shouldn't have done that, I guess. We'll interact with this. A radiant humanoid within it, this tank, a fire white. A memory whisper stands calf deep in a pool of water, motionless. As near as you can tell, it is unconscious, but its eyes, slivers of even brighter light, are barely visible. They pulse once, and its mind unfurls before you like a cloud of flame, momentarily carrying you from the chamber and the creatures pursuing you. Two gaunt, dehydrated fireweights trudge under an ember-flecked sky, across a charred plain studded with the towering bones of monsters. In the shadow of a mountainous ribcage, the leading white stumbles to its knees, arm tendrils deliriously seeking water in the ash of dust. The other white, your host, is only slightly stronger and wishes to give its power and life with the other, so that it can reach the river a kilometer away. Encourage the way that its companion? No. We will survive at any cost. Save your host by forcing it to drain its companion's strength. Before it can resist the unfamiliar, alien urge to survive at all costs, the firewhite rips the life from the fallen one and devours it. New energy swells within its burning frame, but the firewhite grows cold nonetheless. Watching in dismay as the wind claims the scattering ashes of its companion. Heat envelops you, aligning you to the tides. You lean against the tank to catch your breath, eyeing the remaining creatures in the tanks. You will need to be swift to avoid the sorrow fragments hunting for you. Yeah, we will be. And, oh, it's the Spectre's turn. Right, the Spectre's nearly dead. Can only end the turn. These are coming at us, so... Charging up. Let's interact with this thing and hope we survive. This tank contains 2 crystal shards in a sparkling liquid. Memory stirs, pushing aside thoughts of pursuing beasts. You remember climbing a floating mountain of shining rock. Living, crystalline formations wandered the wastes far below, their many legs tracing intricate patterns in the glittering sand. This being is one of those. A Quishamis. Its body is in liquid form, however. The shards, its heart and brain, begin vibrating together, filling your vision with what it sees. You sink into the simple sea-like mind of the Quishamis as it roams the jagged wastes, feeling its raw and aching need to create and recreate. It moves by birthing new legs from the death of old ones. It traces glorious halls in the glittering sand before erasing them with even more complicated designs. Then chaos. A hunter's ballistic slug smashes through its brain. Thoughts becoming splinters, melting. You feel its dying wish. Edge one last design on the sand beneath it. Inspire the Quishamis to etch its art on the hunter in revenge. Strange thought drifts through the Quishamis, it is integrating mind, intriguing and repulsing it in equal measure. As light fades from its world, the creature whips a casual, impossibly sharp spine across the approaching hunter's face. The humor recoils, shrieking and clasping its face. Blood pours from between his fingers, pooling in the Quishami's intricate designs. Feel yourself melting in the channels carved by the tides. That was the last of the creatures. You steel yourself for the deadly race to the tank at the back of the room. That's it. See those tanks at the top of the platform? Get to the glowing one, quick! The Spectre can do something again, alright. That one is hunting for us. Ouch. But we're pretty good still, so no matter. I think with a green circle you can act after that. With a yellow you cannot, so we would be able to reach quite far actually, so let's go there. Next round we will be... the Spectre is impaired, but still he can mark this creature. Poor Spectre. Also hunting the Spectre. Oh my god. Wow, they're quick. Now let's interact. Scintillating color writhes along the facet of the crystalline chamber. It seems ready for you to enter. Place your hand on the surface of the tank. As soon as your hand touches the glass, a surge of energy flows into your body, the power from each of the 5 tidal creatures and the choices you made. As hard as you try, you cannot contain the massive wave of power. Let the power flow. A burst of force surges through your arm, into your head and out. Fragments of the